now in the industry? Do you have enough e-commerce in
No, not at all, not even close. I think it is my luck that I started so early. Right. Okay, this is really crossing some lines, but it's like, it's him. So we let you do it. Why do you go to Facebook? Are you going there to see ads? Really? I mean, if I have to go back in time and have a chance of, not letting it happen, actually I want it to happen. I learned so much, the courage it gave me, and
Hello and welcome to our YouTube series Founding Minds of ILLUMINATE 2024 by the IEEE student branch of IIT. I'm Sanada Kannangara, and today we have a very special person with us. He was the driving force behind the e-commerce wave in Sri Lanka. He's also a serial entrepreneur. He is the founder and chairman of Kapruka Holdings and the founder of Java Launch and the co-founder of Grasshoppers. We have Mr. Dulith Herath. Dulith, in your early stages of education, doing A-level in Sri Lanka, did you ever dream of becoming an entrepreneur, especially in Sri Lanka? Because right now, entrepreneurship is a very hot subject, like everyone's trying to get into that.
yeah, I actually not by A-levels. I think like around the grade 5 times I had it. I didn't even know this meaning of entrepreneurship. It's about, but I don't think I knew the meaning of entrepreneurship until I actually started university. But turning back, the main trait was always that I wanted to create things and see a demand for what I create. Okay, so I mean, it can be a stamp collection, it can be selling computer parts, whatever. I will create something and there's a demand for it. So that drive was always there. So short answer is yes.
You want to test out what kind of opportunities are there from the early stage, or?
Yeah, so I think not opportunities. What I was always looking for was a platform to create things. It's like a shop, right? Imagine you are given a mall shop, right? What are you going to think about? Like, okay, what can I sell here? I have this audience, so I'm paying the rent. What can I sell here? That was always the mindset. I'm giving you like a very bird's eye view of this thinking pattern, right? So it wasn't like, okay, from day one I was like, okay, I want to do this and sell this and gain this. It was like a very broader thing about having an opportunity to create things which has a demand.
So now Kapruka has a very unique kind of a business model. So it has stores, facilities that stores the products straight away given to the customer. And then something that you have mentioned is that from the beginning you have thought of building Kapruka as a profitable business.
Right.
So what was your vision and strategy behind this?
So when I started Kapruka, I knew that generally in the industry of e-commerce, all these big guys were even loss-making. Like if you look at Amazon, even today, they have different businesses, but generally at the bottom line, there's nothing there. And I knew in the size of Sri Lanka, I can't be doing that kind of a business and have nothing at the bottom. Like when you are in a huge market like in the US or like more Western markets, you can have nothing at the bottom, but company will grow and that has a value. So they were really going after the valuation of the company, where I was really going after the profitability of the company. So that's why I chose not to sell certain categories which has very low margins. Like for example, selling TVs. We never sold TVs. But do you know how many other e-commerce companies in Sri Lanka that came on, let's go back 5-6 years, and they were just selling TVs. Right? And what is the margin on TVs? Like 3 or 4%. And one damage item, one return, can kill the entire profitability of an entire shipment. Right? So we stayed out of those categories, even though we could have easily been on those categories. So everything that we sold at Kapruka, we made sure that it's a great product, but at the end, company has a good margin to give a good service. So we were very disciplined in that way from the beginning to make sure that you sell categories that you are good at selling at a profit.
So now when you started Kapruka, so you have already mentioned that you would like to see new e-commerce businesses coming out, driving the demand that has in the market and also getting more customers and everything. So what do you think right now in the industry? Do you have enough e-commerce in the?
Not at all, not even close. It's like this, okay? Now, look at supermarkets. If there was only one supermarket in Sri Lanka, let's say only one brand supermarket, how long will it get for people to get trained to going into this whole supermarket culture, right? But there's now there's like 6. It's like schools, but they're training how to come into a supermarket, and this is your place. It's not the Polo anymore, right? So the supermarket industry drove it, not as one guy, like 6-7 players came in, put a lot of investments. You see all these brands, and they drove that industry, right? So e-commerce is also like that. So you have to have a lot of more players, because we are still at around 1 to 2% 2% maximum of retail. That means if you take 100 people, only 1 or 2 still regularly go online. I'm not talking about ordering a cab or anything like that. I'm talking about actually buying consumer goods, right? So you need more help. So if you look at other developing countries like even India, they were at around 1%. Now they're around 6-7%. What happened there is like Amazon, Flipkart, all these big guys came in, and even Walmart, and invested so much money. That is when that hockey stick started in India. See, so it grew. So it's not like one guy can't do this, right? There are only 1 or 2 major players in Sri Lanka for e-commerce, and I think we need about 6 or 7.
Exactly. So, and we have seen Kapruka in very, let's say, not very common marketing strategies in Sri Lanka.
Unconventional.
Yeah, unconventional. Especially coming with YouTubers, and then again like YouTube, especially videos, songs, and everything. So, what was your vision on like trying those strategies on?
Yeah, so we are trying to be native to the platform that we were advertising on. Now, if you go to Facebook, why do you go to Facebook? Are you going there to see ads? No, right? You are going to gossip around. You are going to see other people, your friends' feeds, etc. And what if I jump in the middle and say, hey, would you like to buy this phone? Right? Like, let's say you and I are having a coffee, and some random bugger jumps in the middle and says, would you like to buy this phone? Like, you swipe up. Exactly. Right? So we created content that didn't do that. The guy does not jump in the middle, right? He would also be another passing by guy, just vibing together. So whenever we are giving a commercial idea to a YouTuber, we will not infiltrate and say, okay, you must sell my product. We say like, you do it your style. I mean, you can be you, and just be creative about how you want to incorporate and mention us. So we give that freedom, and they love it, right? And I can't remember the last time we declined a content that some of these are like very controversial. You know, right? The language and all that is like, but that's him. Yeah, so when I see it, I'm like, okay, this is really crossing some lines, but it's like, it's him. So we let you do it, and I think that has, it really has created a great return for us. And so that is how content creators create for us. So we also do our in-house stuff, right? Yeah. And in there, the strategy is really like you need to be able to enjoy it, and you need to feel like watching this ad again. Second time watch. It has to be that good. So that is like a litmus test we do. Like we watch it and like, I want to see that again. We saw the election cake thing, right? I mean, you really want to keep watching it. It's only like a 2-minute ad, right? Yeah. So that is the test.
Okay. So now talking about taking challenges. So Sri Lanka is a country that is very much focused. I mean, using tea consumption a lot. But why did you
going to Java now from Kapruka? Go ahead.
So why did you think of building a coffee shop brand in Sri Lanka, and how it would turn out?
Okay, and I had to put on a new hat. You are all is in e-commerce and now in Java. So let's see. You're asking why a tea country and why did I go into coffee?
Yeah, exactly.
So coffee is not a product actually. It's a culture, right? Yeah. And if you really look at the history of coffee, I mean, during the Great Depression, it's famous stories about, in the US, this is where the whole coffee culture really blossomed. There were no coffee shops. And people are just getting drunk from day in, day out. Even during the daytime, people are just drunk as hell on beer. So there were just bars, and people are depressed, they didn't have money, they would just go to the bar and waste the day, etc. And then these coffee shops started in Chicago. And then you found a whole different type of people who were like gathering in this place, and they're just having ideas, and they're just chit-chatting, and they're just starting small companies and brainstorming, and this new culture started. And that is the coffee industry, and that is the product that we brought down, and I wanted to create in Sri Lanka. So when you say tea and coffee, it's not about the coffee product itself, it's the environment, why we are meeting there. Normally, very rarely you will see a guy sitting alone and having a coffee. It's always 2 or 3 people chatting, right? So Java Lounge is all about, it's almost like an incubator where people meet to celebrate ideas and having a coffee by side. So it's a different product altogether.
So, thank you for your insights on that. And now going back to a little onto e-commerce side again. Yeah. So you started Grasshoppers like to build a platform for small and medium e-commerce platforms for deliver and for their logistic kind of needs. Like what was your vision? Like someone would say like you were trying to influence the competitors on that side?
No, so Grasshoppers was a startup that was supposed to, remember you asked me at the beginning like why is there's only 1 or 2 e-commerce players, you need more, right? So it's the same thing. If I want to grow the industry, one of the biggest lacking things in Sri Lanka was the delivery network. So which in Kapruka we do it in-house. But if you are a smaller player, this is not about delivering within Colombo into the major cities. This is about, imagine you are sitting here selling, but you want to deliver into Trincomalee, Jaffna, and the rest of the country. So in that case, there was not many options. So that is why it was created.
Okay. So looking back about challenges you have faced, so there may have been some controversies in social media back in COVID-19 time. So I think you have responded to them, but I mean looking back, those challenges, how they helped you and your professional growth and the business growth, and how would you see that?
Oh, immensely. I mean, if I have to go back in time and have a chance of not letting it happen, actually I want it to happen. I learned so much, the courage it gave me and the ambition it gave me. So when you are faced with a problem, you have like a couple of choices, right? Go down with it, fix it and stay there. Or like, using the negativity of the problem, you set a goal saying, okay, I was at 100, let's go to 300 and show that what we can do. So I did that, and that's why actually during that COVID issue we had and that backlash, that gave me enough courage to prove to the company like, look, let's go and list this company on the Colombo Stock Exchange. So there's first e-commerce company, or like very few tech companies are there in the Colombo stock market, and we were profitable, so we could easily go and do that. And so those kind of big changes I did because of the backlashes we got. Okay, and it also proves that when something is successful, is generally you always have a smaller hate group. It's a common success factor, right? So can you name anybody starting from Elon Musk to whoever it is that does not have a hate group, right? If you have somebody very successful and if you have no hate group, there is something wrong there. Right? So it's a necessary must that once you want to expand your businesses, you will have that. And also I think you need to be very truthful about it. Like, okay, yeah, there was a problem, so I was not denying it. You can technically deny it and say blah blah, but yes, there was a problem, so we accept it and move on. And it's sometimes very important to accept your faults, right, than covering it up and saying all sort of excuses and wrong stories, because people are now smart. Right? The audience is smart. You can't just go and give some random bullshit answers. They will know, right? So you better tell the truth and say, if it is sorry. If you didn't do it, say I did not do it, and just be honest about the problem when you are faced with a backlash.
Yes, exactly. So then, yeah, you have moved on to several industries from delivering to e-commerce, then to coffee and everything. So how important is for an entrepreneur to like to move on to new ventures and like to invest in other things and also like to evolve constantly?
It depends, right? It's not a necessity that you have to diverse yourself, because some people are very good at just doing one thing. I mean, look at WhatsApp. Look at the reach of WhatsApp. You think they can't do money delivery to food delivery to anything, right? With that kind of a base, it can be the super app like that. But they don't do anything like that, right? They do messaging right. What was the last time you saw a major new feature in WhatsApp? Right? So they're very focused on it. Right? So if you take the entrepreneur behind WhatsApp, where he could have done all these other stuff and diversified into so many things, he did not really choose not to. That's one type of entrepreneur. You take another type of entrepreneur who gets good at something, fixes it, launches it, serial. He will go start something else, good at it, launch it. So they are serial entrepreneurs. So I don't think we can give an advice and say like, okay, every entrepreneur should be A or B or anything like that, right? So it's really up to you.
And with the new trends of AI
and some people like to slow down, right? After you're done with a few things, you're like, I think enough is enough. I'm going to now chill. So otherwise, what's the point sometimes, right? You do all these things, but sometimes people don't want the chill. Like me, like I never take vacations. I hate it. I hate to travel around all that. I just love to work.
Just as you mentioned that, just out of question, so how do you balance the work life?
I've given this answer before to something. I said I don't balance work life. I stay as I am, and everybody else around me balances automatically.
So moving on. So I mean, we have seen a lot of, I think you have also been involved in some of the programs even with our university. So the startups and ideas given by young students and undergraduates to build up. But what we have seen is, even though there are thousands, hundreds of those groundbreaking ideas, only a very few come out successfully.
It's common, yeah.
So I think, what do you think is the main strategy or like the set of steps that need to take to make it successful?
Yeah, so it's all about how much you are crazy about or passionate about what you're trying to build. So I'll talk about, let's say for example, even Kapruka. Okay, let's take Kapruka as the example. I mean, I wake up in the morning, just not with the phone. I would open the laptop just to see, is there an order? Is there an order? Is there an order? You go to the shower, and all you're thinking is how to improve this thing. Okay, this button is blue, let's make it green. So it's almost like an addiction that you have about this product. Okay, once you have that kind of an addiction, then actually you are living and breathing this thing, right? Then it's easy to improve it, and it's like growing up a baby. But if you do it the other way around, like okay, I need to do this so I can make money. So your money or your something else is your real reward in this. Your reward is not the product itself. Then it's different. Then it's easy to give up. Then like you see other options like, oh, I can make money by doing something else. Yeah. So you got to be extremely in love with your product or your idea.
And even Kapruka, I think, would be a very big example of like, you don't need funding to start a company.
But having said that, I think it is my luck that I started so early, right? So I didn't need money to compete. I could have we grew it to this level, right?
So now we have seen a growing trend of computing students and software engineers in Sri Lanka, and we have seen now the government is even opening up for new opportunities. And we have also seen a trend like now they value experience more than the academical qualifications right now. So what's your take on that now, and how can students evolve onto that? Okay.
Yeah. It's a hard question to answer, but if you are looking at from a hiring perspective, I really don't care about the academics, especially when I'm hiring skilled people or even especially software engineers, etc. I ask them, show me what something you have done, right? And if this guy just pulls out of his bag and some project that he's done on his own about, okay, I built this, why did you build it? Like, I felt like building it and I was playing with it. You're hired, right? So now that's like a cheat code, no, to get into Kapruka. So, but if you haven't built anything, and then it's about the conversation and about the energy. I look at the energy level a lot. Like, you know, I see you always like you're a fast walker. I noticed it, right?
Yeah.
From when I was seeing you guys set up here, I saw you dashing around. So that's high energy person. So all those things matter, and at the end I will look at really the certification. Certification only shows that you have the discipline to go to school for 4 years, right? And you got something. But then I think the other things matter more to me.
So as our last question, what kind of a main advice like you would like to give for young entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka?
So the e-commerce industry or the online industry is a very low-hanging fruit in Sri Lanka. You don't have the same opportunities in other developing countries. If you take countries even like India, Pakistan, etc., there's so much competition. But in Sri Lanka, there's extremely very little competition. So this is not about only selling a product online. This is about selling a service. You know, it can be online car wash. You come to your house and somebody washes your car, and it's on a simple WhatsApp platform that you use. So, but it's built on the internet. So there are so many opportunities on the internet for the upcoming entrepreneurs. So if you have to pick between, you know, traditional business idea entrepreneurship versus online entrepreneurship, I think my advice is like, it's a no-brainer. If you are a technically savvy and if you are passionate about technology, don't even think about it. Go as into that left junction of tech entrepreneur than a traditional entrepreneur.
Thank you, Dulith. So actually, thank you for sharing your valuable experience and insights with us. And I think there will be a lot to learn for the young entrepreneurs and students in Sri Lanka and anyone interested. I think we have reached the end of our questions. Thank you, Dulith, for sharing your valuable experience and insights with us. Subscribe our channel for more interviews and updates like this. See you again.